Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Monday, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you, 2026. The year of green wicks and BSV Terranode in the mix. Branch of threads, expand your mind. We tree chat.ai. All your posts put on chain. Here we go again. So just quite a bit of information to get through on Twitter as per usual. Great post here from Ruda Silva saying a mission complete for Votari app. The first edition of Portugal. Can that introduce Votari to the Portuguese government? That looks absolutely mint. Looking forward to doing that or going through that. We'll have a look at the figures, see what's up with what is going down. We've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we'll finish with the Kelly Spiller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Craig says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. He's acclaiming his legacy, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. So check this out. I've just said here, Bitcoin is BSV, and this is the guy explaining the 100 monkey effect. So let's all have a listen to this.
If you do not know about the 100th monkey effect, which is quite possibly the most profound scientific discovery ever, then prepare to be mind blown. Now, these Japanese snow monkeys were observed by a group of scientists over a 30-year period. And what they would do is they would feed them sweet potatoes, throwing them in the sand. Now, after a while, one monkey learned to wash the sweet potato in seawater, getting rid of the sand and making it more delicious. This monkey then taught it to his mother and some friends. Now, this is where it gets incredibly mind-blowing. Once the 100th monkey learned to do this technique, something incredible happened. The scientists started to observe colonies on faraway islands start to wash their potatoes for the first time. And I mean, like, the entire colony would start doing this. So essentially, once a certain number of monkeys learn to wash their potatoes, the consciousness switched from individual to collective, meaning all monkeys learned how to do this after a certain number was reached. This also can be known as morphic resonance. The 100th monkey effect is proof that we are all connected by this invisible string we call consciousness or energy. Peace and love. If you do not know about the 100th...
There we go. So what he's talking about is basically messages traveling through the ether. And in order to prevent this collective consciousness, obviously we know that the cabal and the baddies have been feeding us highly processed food, fluoride in the toothpaste and all this in order to calcify our pineal gland so that there is no collective consciousness anymore. But the way we get out of this is by having a collective consciousness that Bitcoin is BSV. We've just got to hope that it spreads far enough and fast enough before they manage to, take off the velvet glove and reveal the iron fist and clamp us all down. But this is what we need, the 100th monkey effect, knowing that Bitcoin is BSV, which is why I've said it there. And check this out. He got a reply here from Craig regarding history. So BTC Shig said here, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And she's going on about, Bitcoin looks like a foul, blah, 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 blah. She's a shitcoiner. But Craig has said, yes, and that's the part of history everyone conveniently forgets. $7 trillion evaporated in a week when the dot-com bubble burst. Most of those revolutionary internet companies vanished overnight because hype doesn't scale, and neither do systems without a viable business model. The survivors weren't the loudest. They were the ones that actually functioned, that delivered utility, not promises. BTC is the pets.com of finance. All slogan, no system. A speculative bubble built on misunderstanding, masquerading as inevitability. When reality arrives, when 5 transactions a second and a dead-end scaling model meet the demands of an economy, the same story plays again. The crash won't rhyme with history, it will sing in perfect key. That's hilarious. But he's right. He is absolutely bang on there. And check out this fool, Boris Johnson, saying falling birth rates aren't a disaster. They're the best bit of global news in a long time. Honestly, so he's not part of the cabal. Oh, I think Tommy Robertson posted wanker. Telling it how it is. Check this one out. Ruda Silva. Oh, this looks great. Is he amongst there somewhere? Portugal something global. Oh, so there's a visitor there, Ruda Silva. There he is. Excellent. I'm not sure who these people are, but They're probably important. But he said, mission complete. Votari app, first edition of Portugal Nancio Global, introducing Votari to the Portuguese government. A simple idea: replace trust in systems with verifiable proof. No opaque process, no reliance on third parties, just votes that are transparent, auditable and provable. Built on blockchain, designed for real-world elections, especially where participation is hardest. The road ahead is long, but the direction is clear. Yes, it is. And the direction is BSV voting on the blockchain. Too right. CSW has responded here to Ryan Sean Adams. I guess he's a shitcoiner. He said, best Bitcoin documentary I've ever seen. What a load of crap. Incredible interviews with the investigators who made Finding Satoshi. They took the time to understand the cypherpunk movement and the values that drive crypto. Also, I think they found Satoshi. Yeah, all right, mate. Well, again, the word being there, I think. Yeah, because they haven't. CSW said, Bitcoin has got nothing to do with cypherpunk BS. Absolutely. Honestly, they're getting so desperate. It's pathetic, really. Coin Bureau said here, Satoshi may not need to move his Bitcoin to protect it from quantum attacks. Oh, funny that. A new proposal called Pact could let old Bitcoin wallets prove ownership without waking up publicly. Instead of moving coins, Pact would let holders privately timestamp proof that they control the keys. Oh, really? And that's not going to be controlled or monitored. If Bitcoin later freezes vulnerable addresses, those holders could use stark proof to recover access. This could be huge for old wallets, including Satoshi's estimated 1.1 million BTC valued at $84 billion. But if Satoshi is truly gone, no proof can be made, and his coins remain at risk, whatever, remaining at risk. Well, the BTC might be a risk because Taproot and SegWit, but then that's not Bitcoin, is it? So I don't think he'll be too bothered about that. CSW also responded here to John Wayne, who was saying they can't stop what's coming now. Now can they? CSW just simply said no, they can't. And that was in response to Kurt saying the small blockers are in a war with the really small blockers. I read Hodlernaut's article from this week about Thu controversy, and I was shocked that there were whole paragraphs about Bitcoin Core that sounded like me. CSW said they could have listened 8 years ago. But yeah, they can't stop what's coming now, can they? No. From the man himself. He's extended on that reply by saying, they ask whether it can be stopped. The question itself betrays the misunderstanding. What is unfolding is not an event that may be halted by decree, nor a derivation that can be corrected by will. It is the consequence of accumulated contradictions, long tolerated, carefully ignored, and now approaching the point where they can no longer occupy the same space without tearing at one another. In certain visions, those that come not from mysticism but from pattern recognition, carried to its uncomfortable conclusion, one sees pathways rather than outcomes, and along these pathways there are junctures where intervention is possible. This is not one of them. That moment passed when disagreement was discussed as consensus, when divergence was rebranded as cohesion, when opposing incentives were allowed to coexist under the polite fiction that they were aligned. Now the paths have narrowed. Could they delay it? Yes. In the way one delays an argument by leaving the room, silence can buy time. Distraction can soften the immediate pressure. They may construct narratives, convene conferences, issue statements of unity, small performances designed to reassure themselves more than anyone else. But delay is not prevention. It is merely the stretching of an inevitability across a long, thinner thread. To stop it would require something they have neither demonstrated nor in truth desire. Genuine agreement at the level of first principles, not slogans, not temporary alliances, but a reconciliation of fundamentally incompatible aims. They would need to decide what the system is, not rhetorically, but operationally. They would need to exclude as much as they include, to define limits as firmly as they assert freedoms, and in doing so, they would alienate large portions of themselves. They will not choose that path. Instead, each faction will continue to move according to its own incentives, conceived that it can extend the system without breaking it. Each will believe it can adjust just enough, introduce a safeguard here or an extension there, a workaround somewhere else, without acknowledging that these adjustments accumulate and the accumulation has a cost. The versions do not show a singular collapse. They show divergence branches multiplying, each justified, each defended, each unable to reconcile with the others. The language will remain unified for as long as possible. The reality will not. So no, it cannot be stopped in any meaningful sense. Not now. It can only be witnessed. And perhaps, for those capable of it, understood in advance, so that when the fracture appears, they are not mistaken. They're not mistaken for surprises, but recognized for what they are: the invisible surface of a structure that resolves its tensions not by agreement, but by division. Phenomenal, phenomenal. I mean, everything that he writes, everything that man writes should be in a book. The writings of Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, it's just absolutely sensational stuff that we're witnessing and reading all of. Oh, I ain't even got time to read all of his work. He produces so much. It's crazy. But anyway, another reason why the world needs Bitcoin. Again, we've got Rainer Fulnick, who's again in prison for non-violence, not even a crime. That's absolutely outrageous. Yeah, if you're going against the dystopian totalitarian one world government. Bridget posted here a live look at BSV's Terranode gossip mesh, real-time blocks, subtrees, operator, statues, rejections, straight off BSV's LIP P2P gossip mesh. Will get sharper as I learn the network beta. So I could see this blowing out my infrastructure, but see it here. Oh, all right then, see what she's got.
All right, just want to share something exciting that I've been working on. This is a Terranode Explorer. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first public-facing Terranode Explorer of the BSV blockchain. It'll only get better as I learn more and more about what's going on. Quickly, what we're looking at any operators. Now, there might be miners that are not in this list. From what I understand, they don't have to show in this P2P network that I'm looking at, but it's pretty cool. You can see the block height here for the ones that are in the running status. 428 is, I think, the latest block. I checked that before.
That looks ace. I'll link this link to that in the description here. So I'll have to have a look at that myself and get a closer look. Loving that, Bridget. Nice one. There we go. She also posted get the BSV network intel report every morning at 6:15 Central Time. Chain health, capital flows, mining, distribution transactions per second. It's free. Just hit subscribe when you open the bot. Today's report. Oh, here we go. If it's useful, there is a contribution address at the top of each report. Stats welcome, never required. Let's have a look here. BSV Intel, loving this. See the health of the network, the strength of the system. Loving that. Loving that. Yeah, that looks ace. That looks ace. Right, I don't think there was anything else. Let's have a quick look at the charts then. We've got overall market cap $2.5 trillion. Greg coin at $80,000, a GMAX coin, sort of going up and down there. 24-hour trade volumes, 3%. Not a lot there, really. Ethereum, $278 billion. XRP, $86 billion. That Binance token, $90 billion. What an absolute joke that is. Keep an eye on the graphs on the right-hand side as we go down to find where Bitcoin is down here. Oh, and number 82. $15.92. Oh, trending upwards in the week a little bit. Volume. So Huobi apparently absolutely maxing it there. And then CoinDCX, fake wash trading there. Whoa. Huobi going massive. While we're here, let's have a quick look at that then. That looks strange. 24-hour trade volume, $7 million. Okay, $7 million. Let's just compare that to CoinSpot then. See what's going on there. 24-hour trade volume, 25 million, so 25 million Australian dollars, so half that to 12.5 million. 12.5 million, so still ahead of Huobi there, but interesting figures. Let's have a look at liquidity. That's the main one that you want. Where is the liquidity? CoinW, I just don't know if I believe these charts, but anyway, green coming in there. Yeah. Let's have a look at the overall transactions. We're 2.6 million transactions over the last 24 hours, and we are leading the crypto market. We're ahead of Ethereum. There's just 2.3 million. Look at that. Can you believe it? And yet we're 82 in the charts, 82 in market cap ranking, and yet we're ahead of GMAX coin, ahead of Ethereum, ahead of XRP. That is nuts. But we all know what's going on. Let's just quickly double check those figures in the 24-hour stats here. Yeah, 2.7 million transactions over the last 24 hours. Mining stats, 24 hours. Let's have a look. Tau 30%, SA100 20%, Kuv 17.6, Gorilla Pool 13.08, Mole Pool 9.2, QD Link 6.9, and Mining Dutch 3%. Very good. Right, May the 4th be with you. So on May the 4th, 1956 was when Hal Finney was born. Hal Finney received the first transaction from Satoshi Nakamoto. What was that, on the 12th of January, I think it was. The coins were sent from Block 9. May the 4th, 2008 was when Coindesk.com domain was created. Coindesk in the 4th of May 2008. With the cabal already looking at Bitcoin there, like knowing it was a coin, we'll have our Coindesk. Like, what? May 4th, 2009. Oh, May 4th, 2008. That was before the Bitcoin white paper was released on the 31st of October, 2008. That was before the white paper was initially released on the Social Science Research Network on the 21st of August, 2008. What's going on? I think somebody was spying on Craig's work is what I think. Yeah, the cabal were already in on it. And then after that, we've got Bitcoin Talk Forum and then emails from Marty and Malmy. All right, great stuff. All right then. And we are the 4th of May. We're on day 228 of the Kellenschweller Countdown. When's it going to finish? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. It's going to be absolutely epic. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
I understand.
Do you?
Do you? This is it. I'm telling you, this is it.
The king still has one more move.